one of the major topics that we need to concentrate on is how often we should go to casinos. So, how often, it depends on a person's readiness and the state of health. We mentioned that in other videos, but it is crucial. If you're not in a good health, both physically and mentally, if you're exhausted or if you have a lot of trauma and problems going on that day, then you cannot step into a casino, because that's going to affect your playing. You may not realize it, and you may be used to it because you've been trying to put in a lot of hours to get ins and outs of the casino. But that doesn't mean that it's an effective way to continue. So you need to really, before even getting ready to go to a casino, you need to ask yourself whether you're ready to play or not. And sometimes you're not going to be ready, even though you want to go, because you've been making money and maybe you're having fun doing it, but it's crucial that you don't go when you shouldn't. So what happens is that if you are tired, okay, or if you have a severe flu or something, or if you wake up in some sort of a back problem or whatever, what happens is that when you sit down to play, you're irritated. Okay, before even starting to play, you're already irritated. And then if things are not going well, the cards are not coming out correctly, or if you're shooting craps or whatever, you're playing video poker or a slot machine or something, if things are not going well, then you're going to be that much worse as far as your well-being. And then that's when mistakes start. Again, always remember that even if you think that you are just solid when it comes to counting, and you're just mistake free, that you do mistakes when under bad conditions. We all do. There's just no way out of this. Okay, and but you don't realize it because there's nobody telling you that. And then you place your larger bets at the wrong time, and you get a hit with a bad hand, and now it's getting worse and worse. And then you get really irritated, and you start to chase the money, and that, you know, the end of that story. So, it'd be important. I realize that we keep saying that this type of system is it doesn't generate thousands daily, so it's important that you go every day. But don't go if you're not ready. It doesn't make sense to go to a casino in bad condition and lose a bunch of money for what? Or what did you gain? So, and then you will see the results. You will see that when you rest, when you need to, that the following day you go and you're fresh, and you're playing much better, and your state of being is much better. And but again, here's the other side of this. Okay, if you decide to take a day off or a couple of days off, and you go back, your casino experience is going to be like fresh, really. You say, oh man, it's good to be back and playing. It's like being back to work or something, and and especially people haven't seen you, the staff, casino staff, and everyone treats you nice, and you feel really good about this, But just treat it like a regular day. Make your money and get out. Okay? Don't feel like you haven't been playing for a couple of days, so it's okay to I tell you what happened. That happened to me yesterday. Okay, and I the day before, actually, it was snowing, and I have no idea why or how my battery was drained. Doesn't make any sense. But it's a hybrid car, and but regardless, I couldn't go anywhere. And so when I got to the casino, I was just like so happy, to make the money, and uh, and then I went to the craft table. I think I made the first time I made $450, and then I hit half of the bonus, so I made like $450 plus playing. So once I threw a seven, I cashed on. Everyone's, oh, you're leaving? I said, yeah, I need to rest. This is the fun part of playing, because everyone's making money off of you, and they don't want you to leave, including the staff, I says, yeah, I gotta go rest. So I got my money and went to the cashier and cashed out in case I wanted to leave. But then I decided to walk around and see how the slot machines were doing. And nobody was winning anything. And then I got to this one section, and this is a good morning. And all these girls were screaming, and I thought, oh wow, maybe something is going on. So I sat there for a minute and watched, and I realized they're just screaming about nothing. They were, I like to get sort of close to the machines and see how much people are winning. And they had no credits, hardly any credits. So you got to be careful about it. Sometimes you go to a casino and then it looks like everybody's winning, but are they really? Are they just making a lot of noise? Maybe they've had too much to drink, and that was the case with these girls. They were just screaming and yelling about nothing. They win $10 on their screen. So, very, very important to pay attention to that. Anyhow, I realized nothing was going to happen, but then I decided to go to the other section, and I said, well, if I'm going to play, it's going to be now. So I decided to just take out a $20 bill and try it, and nothing happened. And it was just obvious. It was just nothing going on. And so I got out of that situation, and I went back to the table, and I started playing again. This time, I think it's the first time that I've hit both bonuses that quickly. I mean, it was like every roll was like the bonus number. And people were throwing $5 and $25 chips at me. And I said, what is this? This is yours. So, I took it. It's a little embarrassing when people give you money, but take it. It's your money. Because they made money, off of you. And so this time I cashed out, and then I rolled a 7, after a long time. And this time I made almost $800. So here I had about 800 and 400 something. So about maybe even close to 1,400. And but the thing was, I rested for 2 days. To be honest, I was just bored. I thought, well, I don't play table games in major casinos. But that day I decided, I might try to play Baccarat for a minute, because that's not the card counting that we use. It's not all that normal, so people, casinos don't watch it that closely. And then I sat down and I see the pit bosses, looking and stuff. I just didn't feel right. Then I told the lady, you know what, I'm tired, I'm going to go home. So I didn't even play any hands, And I got up, and this was closed. They had the last call, so it was around 2 o'clock, 2 in the morning. And I had gotten to the casino about 10, a little after 10. So I'd been there for 4 hours. and I made $1,400. That's your day. But what do after all these years and all teaching people? So, well, I don't really want to go home. You know why? Because I was rested. I felt fresh in the casino, and I says, well, I'm gonna just try to play some. There's nothing else to play. Oh, I went to the. That's what I did. I went to the poker, video poker, and I just sat there and battled, and I won a little bit. I lost, and I went from $100 down to about 80, and I wasn't winning anything. So I says, I just don't have the energy for this. Video poker, you have to have some energy because you have to sit there and wait for those four of a kind or major hits, so that at least you make it $200-300 a hit. But if you don't have the patience and the energy, then it's not a good time to play it. So then I walked away from that. So I had this ticket for $80, and I got stupid and went and lost it in the slot. Luckily, I only lost $80, but if I know which slot machines to look for, and that casino I actually only have one or two because it's kind of a newer casino to me, and both were taken. So I was just I was like the average slot machine gambler. I was just trying what I thought would be a good machine, and I just lost $80. Luckily, I only lost $80. I could have lost $400 or $500 easily, and that's when you have to watch the machines. You have to, if it's not your machine, you're not familiar with it, they irritate you. Because you put your money in and you get nothing back. There's nothing you can do. With other skills that we teach here, there's a lot of things you can control the game. How do you control a slot machine? You just got a button. That's all you can do. So if it's not the right machine, you can get really irritated. So you need to watch your state of health closely. And it was funny because one of the dealers was playing, said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you." I said, "I talk to myself all the time." And she started laughing. She says, "Oh my, that's funny because I do that too." I do. I talk to myself all the time because there's nobody else telling me or give me advices and stuff. You gotta talk to yourself and say, "Look, go home." The logical stuff, because there's no one else doing it. You have to do it. And I told myself, just get out of here, because I was gonna go and get something to eat and rest before driving back. It's only a 40-minute drive to my place, but I just wanted to get, I didn't even wash my hands, which you really should do. I didn't, because I realized if I go to the restroom, then I'm gonna say, "Well, let me play," and then I'll never get out of there. So I went to a gas station. Even though my car was almost full, but I just went there because I didn't want to wash my hands in the casino. So I went to a gas station and washed my hands, and got a little bit of gas. So these are crucial things that you got to be careful on. A lot of times, even if you have to go to the restroom, don't go. Don't go to the restroom. Get out of that casino. Find a gas station nearby and use their restroom. Because casinos, I don't care how many years of experience you have, these places are designed with top people in the world. They know how to lure people, and it's they spent millions and millions on this. So it's extremely important you pay attention to not only your state of health but also your environment. And when it's time to hit the exit, you gotta get out of there. It's hard, but you gotta get out of there. We'll talk a lot more about this, but thank you for watching, and we'll see you again here soon. One last thing I wanted to add is that I kind of, after all these years, I could tell when I'm gonna have a big day, because, and you will after a while too, because anything you touch turns into gold. And I knew that I could have made easily $2,000 to $3,000 that night. You see, that's why I didn't want to leave. But the thing is, if I made another 1,000 on the or 800 on the crap table, nobody could probably care. People could care less, you know. But see, I'd already gone to the cashier twice, all right, and it's the same people because I wasn't there that long. The same supervisor. First time I cashed I think it was $480. I think is what it was. The supervisor came over because if it's over a certain amount, supervisor has to watch the transaction. Okay, and then the second time I go there, I think it was 780 or something. I can't remember the exact amount. Same exact supervisor comes over, and he's watching, and he didn't ask me any questions or anything, you know. But I think if I went there a third time, then because people do that, especially with the crap table. When they throw a seven, they just want to walk away, you know. And I think if I went back a third time, he would take a closer look at me. Both times he didn't look at me, you know. He was just looking at the person. I'm sure he did. These guys are trained. These guys are not rookies. They look at the person before they walk over to the cashier to see who that person is and whether they want to ask him for ID. And I think him and we've had eye contact before, and he kind of knew that I was mainly well, I'll put it this way. He knew I was a card count. I think he knew I was a card because he looked at me for a few months ago, you know, and I didn't go back for a long time. So, and then when I went back, from the corner of his window, he could see that I was playing crap. I did do that. If you notice, the cashier's always facing the crap table and some of the card games. This way, the supervisor can see where you got your money. You know, if you sat there at the blackjack table and you come in here with a few $100s, he's gonna ask for ID. Okay? But the crap table, there's no sense asking for ID. You know? But if you're going to the crap table and you keep coming in there with black chips, you know, they just get funny. You know, you're not counting cards. But then you could be a major shooter. People get banned from casinos all the time because they're major shooters, and the casinos lose $50,000, $100,000 in one night. So they started investigating, trying to wonder if they're bring their own dice, maybe. You know, I don't know how you could do that, but the story. So the point is that I could have made two or maybe even 3,000 that night. You know, I could just tell. Even the video poker, I could tell I was going to be hitting some major hands. But I think I was smart, and I talked to myself, and I said, "Get out of here." You know, I just didn't feel like, there's always tomorrow, man. Make money tomorrow. I know sometimes you read these books and they tell you to never leave the casino when you're winning, but those people that write those things, a lot of them are traveling advantage players. We're not traveling. We're local advantage players, and we need to save our casinos. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you for watching again.